First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to the true and living power, which is Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakah Kwadash. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the true name of His only begotten Son, and there is no God beside them. And I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who definitely rule well, and honors and citations to the hopeful elect. So I'm gonna start this off with the book of Luke, touching on the topic of patience. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 19, which says the words of Yahweh Shai at that. Let me start at verse 17. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Okay? And this is going to play back. That's why it says in Romans 15:4, for all things were written aforetime. For what? For our learning. Okay? Because we can learn from the things that happened before as they're getting ready to ultimately happen again. That's why in the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 22, that's why this is so important. Lamentations 4:22, right to the point. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. Speaking about the Israelites. The reason why we're here in the first place is because of a punishment. The reason why we were stripped, the reason why we were kicked out of our land, and you so-called natives and Hispanics, the reason why you got conquered, slayed, okay, you so-called Negroes dragged here into on cargo slave ships. It was all for what? A punishment from the Lord. And the form of ultimately what? The Lord turning His back on us. That's why it says in Hosea, in the land where it was said, ye are not my people, it shall be said, ye are the sons of the Most High. So the Lord turned His back on us, rightfully so, because we were disgusting, sinful, rebellious, wicked degenerates, okay, to our power. But now you have the hopeful elect who ain't choosing that lifestyle, who ain't with that, and we're repenting, meaning what? To turn back. So we're turning back to our culture and our heritage, our to our power ultimately, and the things in which He promised our forefathers. Right, so it says the punishment of that iniquity is accomplished. See that? So soon, our time, our punishment is going to be up. And the Lord is going to come and redeem His hopeful elect and bring us back to our land in which the kingdom will be established. Okay, everything is going to be established, man, by Yahweh Shai. In the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, who's gonna be ruling over what? Of the 144,000, that's a spirit I see 144 right now. You rule over 10 cities, you ruling over 5 cities, you ruling over this city, you ruling over that. Everything's gonna become to be in order. The heathens are gonna be bringing their riches, building up our kingdom. This is what's going to happen when our iniquity is fully accomplished, in which we're almost at its end. Okay, this is why. Matter of fact, let me go over to the Apocrypha, Second Esdras. Hey, our punishment coming to an end is intertwined with Esau's end. They're intertwined. The same token of the same instance of our punishment being accomplished is the same instance of Esau end. Okay, the scriptures say he set up bounds in which he can't pass. Okay, which is twofold, because he has the bounds in which he can't pass according to space and the sea, and then he has the bounds that he can't pass according to him trying to extend his rulership. Yeah, okay, yeah, a pork ad right where the Bible is. Yeah, okay, call me a plantation Christianity. Anyway, this is 2nd Esdras chapter 6, right? Verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first, meaning Edomites, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. See, going into how Jacob, which represents your so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Natives, is going to pull these Edomites out of power. And it's happening. The beginning of it is already happening. That's why they're terrified. That's why they're scared to death. Because the Lord, well, the scriptures say what? He shall consume them with the spirit of his mouth, then the brightness of his coming. So right now we're in the process of these devils and even 2/3 of our own people and the heathen being consumed with the spirit of the Lord's mouth by the prophets, the men of the Lord. That's why it's very important to put out these lessons, to go out in highways and byways, to prophesy, to teach, to speak on behalf of the Lord. See, so we're already in the process, but soon, then what? Then the brightness of his coming. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. See? And with us being so intertwined with one another, as far as the rulership goes, once again, our iniquity being accomplished goes hand in hand with the end of Esau's rulership, which the end of Esau's rulership is the major sign of his end is when he implements that C-hip, man, the R to the F to the ID C-hip. We know that when he begins to implement that, boom, that's it. Our iniquity is accomplished. His time of rulership has come to an end. And the beginning of the kingdom, of the eternal kingdom, begins to be established, man, as Yahushua returns all in one. Okay? So, all praises and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. He revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets, that we're able to understand all these things, man. Remember, knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. So the fact that we know that, is just strength. It's strength, man. It's pure strength. That's why, once again, Isaiah 33:6. Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of salvation. We don't get the strength of salvation unless you get the knowledge. It takes you to know the knowledge first, to know what's going on. Then from that knowledge builds the faith, wisdom. That's why knowledge is number one. Knowledge is number one, man. You can't obtain faith in the name of the Lord unless you have the knowledge of the name of the Lord first. And you have to have the knowledge of that these other. You have to have knowledge that these other philosophies are false. That his name is not Jesus. You got to have that knowledge. Okay, the letter J didn't come about until 1524. Almost 1,500 years later from when the Lord was on the scene. So 1,500 years is impossible for that to be his name. You got to know that knowledge first. Then what is his name? Then we get into the Hebrew. You get into Hawashai. The lettering is right there. If you get the like Apostle Tar mentioned, the Hebrew New Testament. So Salaki, let me get back into the scriptures. Going back into Luke chapter 21 verse 17, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, because we coming into them times again. Where to call yourself a Hebrew Israelite, you're gonna be hated for it. But that's all under what? Under Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. See, so now we're gonna be hated for this truth's sake, because ultimately Yahweh Shai represents the truth. It says, but there shall not an hair of your head perish. Okay? Because, meaning what? We're not going to lose our reward so long as we continue to endure. So, the whole point is right here in verse 19, in your patience possess ye your souls. See? Learning of patience. We're here to learn these things now, man. To become bitter. Learn of patience, because we're going to have to exercise all these things when all hell breaks loose. Okay? How are we going to have the patience to go a certain time period without eating? To go a certain time period before we reach a destination? How are we gonna be able to implement that if we never learned it now? See, patience ain't always fun. It ain't always glorious. Okay, but guess what? And I'm gonna end it here. James 1:4. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. See? We have to let patience take its course. And stop and see. And stop and see what is there to learn of it, man. Okay, so yeah, man, we have to work on being patient, because we're gonna have to implement that. All these things we're learning of it now, because we're gonna have to implement it during that day, man. Faith, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay, patience once again. Okay. So Lord willing is edifying. With that, I'm going to say shalom.